Doggy got his ass kicked yesterday. Yesterday late afternoon. I got a video. Let me just play this for the people. Then I can get into the story, and hopefully I get the story in before we have to shut her down. But I filmed this last night.
Doggy's resting comfortably. He had a rough day on the beach. Got savagely attacked by a giant dog. Bit of a puncture wound in his back left leg. Going to the vet tomorrow. Right, Doggy? You all right, brother?
There you go. It was quite the afternoon yesterday. So walking, throwing the ball, the sun's going down. It's perfect temperature. The waves, everything is great. The sun out here was just stunning. And I throw the ball, and all of a sudden, I didn't see it coming at all. A dog came out of nowhere. It was a group of people, and usually when you come upon a group of people, you look around, make sure if they have a dog, it's either on a leash or make sure it's kind of a friendly dog, you know. I didn't see this dog. I saw the group of people. I throw the tennis ball. Doggy runs for it, and all of a sudden, this giant mastiff, this huge dog that I honestly thought was a pot-bellied pig. I really didn't think it was even a dog. This thing was just a massive flesh, way bigger than Doggy. And Doggy's almost 80 pounds. This thing had to weigh 110, 120 pounds, I would say. Just goes into full attack mode, jumps on Doggy. Doggy's pinned down. He's yelping. This dog is just biting the shit out of him. I'm like, hell nah. So I jump on this dog, and I'm just, with all my weight, no joke, all my weight, I'm like pushing him like this, and it's dead weight. I'm just trying to get him off the dog. Get him off Doggy, right? I can barely budge this dog. All of a sudden, the owner comes running over. He goes, "Get off my dog." And I'm like, he's killing him. He's killing him. Because we've been in confrontations, man. Anyone that has a dog, you've been in confrontations, and you know which ones are the bad ones. This was a bad one. This was a very dangerous one. And Doggy's all twisted because he's trying to get free. I don't know if he's going to get his neck broken. The dog has a lock on Doggy's throat. So I was able to push him off like that, and the guy's now yelling at me. He's like, "Get off my dog." And I'm like, "Help me get your dog off my dog. He's killing him." All of a sudden, Doggy's yelping and crying. The next thing you know, the guy kind of pulls his dog off Doggy, right? But he's sort of like not taking it seriously, so he lets the dog sort of go again, and the dog goes right back at Doggy, and is now biting his butt, basically. And then I'm like, what the hell? So I get right in the guy's face. I'm like, what is wrong with you? Your dog is aggressive, and he's pretty much trying to kill my dog. That's when this giant human being came rolling up to me, who's associated with this group, and he basically is like, get out of here, move along, leave. I'm like, I ain't leaving. And Doggy's on the ground yelping, right? And all of a sudden, the guy belly bumps me out of the situation. Have you ever been belly bumped out of a situation? It's really embarrassing. Next thing you know, the dog gets free again. Now I'm trying to get out of the situation, even though I'm red hot. But I'm also trying to figure out how hurt Doggy is. And I don't like backing down from anybody, but the belly bump was pretty significant. I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna get my ass handed to me. And then all of a sudden the mastiff was free again and put a death lock on the left leg of Doggy, and that's the video I just showed you. It's a pretty decent puncture wound to his back left leg. The owner had a really tough time, like getting the jaw off Doggy's back leg. Really tough time. I was like, holy, and I just saw the flat. It was like pulling. It was pulling like this. And the guy's like, oh, I forgot the best part. So then I get the belly bump out of the situation, right? And he's like, just leave, just walk, just walk away, just walk away. And I'm like, I ain't walking away. I'm fucking pissed. And then he belly bumps me. And then I'm like, oh, no. I'd rather get knocked out than be humiliated by a belly bump. But then I was thinking of Doggy. I'm like, I got to get him out of this situation. This dog is absolutely insane. So I'm like, I can't believe I got to suck it up and walk away after a belly bump. And then I'm walking away. And then the other guy that came over and said, get off my dog, when my dog was basically, at this point, it was looking like he was attempting to kill Doggy. That guy, as I'm walking away, I'm breathing heavy at this point because I just was wrestling this giant mastiff, and then I get belly bumped, and then Doggy's like panting and yelping and crying. I'm like, this is great. This was supposed to be a lovely walk as the sun was sort of getting low in the sky. Oh, Jesus, this rain. Then the guy that ran over there initially and said, get off my dog. You know, he saw me get in between the two dogs, and he goes, no dog is worth stitches. And I went, oh, if that doesn't say it all right there. They don't give two craps about their dog. Because my dog's worth stitches. Especially if I think my dog's in deep trouble, I'll take a ridiculous bite from a dog to try to, you know, protect my dog. I'll do it in a second. That said everything when he goes, no dog is worth stitches. Like, I guess I was supposed to let these two fight it out. My dog didn't want any part of this giant mastiff that outweighed him by, like I said, probably 40 pounds at least. At least. Like I said, the thing looked like a pot-bellied pig. At first, I didn't even think it was a dog. Begrudgingly, I had to kind of leave with Doggy because I was more worried about him than myself. And he was just so scared and bothered. And then I'm trying to check him out. And then the guy's yelling, it's both your faults. It's both your faults. Both dogs off the leash. Both dogs off the leash. Like, we all know we let our dogs off the leash, especially late in the day, especially if you know you got a dog that's decent, that's not going to attempt to do a death lock on another dog's throat. I know for a fact that my dog is not going to do a death grip on some other dog's throat. Like what was happening with Doggy at first, before I was able to push this massive dog off my dog. And then I got belly bumped. That was so embarrassing. So I come home, I'm shaking. At this point, Doggy's bleeding. He wasn't bleeding at first, to be honest with you. He wasn't bleeding. And then the blood's just pouring out of his left leg. I'm like, oh, that's fucking great. And then we brought him home. We checked everything else out. Everything else looks okay. I showed you the worst little wound from the dog fight. My wife, God, I love her. She's like, fuck this. She marches right back down to the beach to talk to these guys. And they were being aggressive towards her, like guys being aggressive towards a woman. Like, she's like, whose dog is this? And no one would answer her. And she's like, this dog just beat the shit out of our dog. Whose dog is this? And then they begrudgingly talk to her. And she's like, does he have all his shots? Because he didn't even have a collar. Yeah, because you got to worry about the rabies and everything else. And they're barely like, giving her any respect. They don't say sorry. It was so obvious because then when I was walking down the beach, people were like, holy crap, that dog's a problem. I'm like, thank you. I'm glad you saw that. They were trying to gaslight me. I'm like, dude, I did nothing wrong. I just threw a tennis ball. I had no idea you have a vicious dog that you decided to keep off a leash. Obviously, this dog has done this a few times in the past. It is pouring out. So she marches down there, and then the one guy is like, doing this crap. He's doing kind of a Conor McGregor thing. When Conor McGregor used to be able to fight before he went into party mode. He's doing a Conor McGregor thing to my wife. And she's like, I just want to know, if there's anything we have to worry about. The dog's at the house and he's bleeding. He's got a puncture wound. We want to make sure, all your dog's shots are up to date. Do you live in this house? And they go, yes. She's like, I want your phone number just to make sure. Then she walked back. She's like, oh my God, those people are like, I told you. They didn't care. They thought it was some weird little incident. I'm like, this is not a weird little incident. Maybe you're used to your dog just savagely attacking other dogs, but guess what? I'm not used to it. especially when the dog comes home bleeding pretty good. Opie, it drives me crazy when you call him dawgie. It's like when people call their youngest the baby, no longer how old. What's the dog's name? Humble Einstein. For your purposes, his name is Dawgie. He's been dawgie since he was a puppy. It's not even about giving you his real name. At this point, he's just known as Dawgie. So we'll continue doing that if that's okay with you. I just told this horrific story. The guy's like, I'm bothered that you call him Dawgie. How about the horrific story I just told, Humble? Doodle dogs are the best dogs. Yeah, they are. Flat Cat Jessica, they sure are. So, man, you just never know. Right around the corners, anything crazy could happen, and that's, man. It was such a it was such an awesome weekend, and to end like that, it was just like it was a bummer for the whole house, because then we weren't even sure how bad Doggy was hurt. I'm not going to oversell it. He seems pretty good. I took him out this morning, and he wanted to play with his dumb tennis ball, and I threw that around a little bit before this rain hit. Oh my God, it's pouring. The umbrella's holding it back, though, man. So, well, I hope your weekend was better. Chris, aka Fish Guy Photos, is really good friend of mine. His wife knows a thing or two about dogs and training dogs and stuff, and she said, and I'll pass this along to you, that if your dog's in a brutal fight like that where you're like, I got to get this effing dog off my dog, she goes, just grab its back legs, both back legs, and lift it off the ground, and you got to hold on like that, because then eventually the dog's like, what the F is going on, and they will release because they want to know why his back legs are up in the air. And then we looked it up online, and sure enough, yeah, that's they suggest that. But I'll get right in there. I don't care. I'll get right the F in there. But next time, yeah, I would grab the back legs. Absolutely. Vincent Scaramuzzo, hope you got the Kenny treatment right out of there. I got belly bumped. I got belly bumped. This guy, the type of guy. I mean, the guy was probably. He towered over me, and I'm not that short. I play 6 foot with shoes. Let's just put it that way. But I'm probably more like 5'10" and a half, five, almost 5'11". But this guy towered over me, and he had just one of these giant, I like my beer bellies, and boy did he belly bump me out of the situation.